What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Uncut and After Show. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Speaking of Patreon, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon. So a massive shout out of appreciation to Abraham Mohammed, Adam, Adrian Quintana, Alistair Main, Blue Ridge Ranger, Burn Fat Till My Stomach Is As Flat As The Earth, Chow Young Cat, Dank, Dave Rakia Gafford, David Robinson, David Wayne Foster, Daz Studio 68, Edwin Johnson, Erwin Jennisons, Felix Hung, Fireball X, God Rockin, Henrik 86, Kirsten Smith, Liam Nedrick, Life is Short, Maria Neelands, Matt, Missouri Bear, NA Literalist, new one. Very warm welcome to you, NA Literalist. Thank you very much for joining me on Patreon. Nagara, Nathan Thompson, Naibai, Rob H, Skeptic 936, Steve ALM, Texas Mike, The Real Gabster, Tina Baker, Unbelievable Productions, and Windrider. So a massive shout out of thanks and appreciation to all of you who support me on Patreon. Now we are joined by a couple of people in G+, together with a whole bunch of people in Discord, so I'll raise the mic on them, and you can enjoy their dulcet tones while I set up for today's live show. Hello.
Good morning.
How's it going?
Good. Had a full weekend. A lot of work. Good weather. Saw that you had a show before this show.
I trimmed out the discussion on models we had with that dude on Friday.
Oh, okay.
So he starts off.
How long is that segment?
15 minutes, maybe a bit longer.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll watch it later then.
He's basically saying, it's really quite funny, he starts off by saying, what's your explanation on your model for the North Star? And I'm like, I don't know, I haven't got a model. Sorry. He's like, oh, well, that's very honest, thank you very much. That's kind of the end. And then Spurs sort of launches into what's so important about models. And he says that what they do is they say if you haven't got a model, it's difficult to believe in flat Earth. And the guy's like, no, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, as a flat earther, having a model's very important.
I always say the same thing.
He said the same thing in a slightly different order. It's
I
just
remember
comical.
that. Oh, gosh.
But yeah, just a nice opportunity for me to go through the reification fallacy and what it is, and plug Thrice 8 Hermes, because he does a really good job of it also. So I did find a one where he actually uses something vaguely loosely related to our subject, which is to say he's got a comparison where a guy comes up to him and describes the heliocentric system, and he says, just don't you realise that we're traversing around the sun? This is very important stuff. And the reply is like, I don't need to fill my head with that stuff. I've got this other job that I do that's quite technical and requires a lot of my thought and knowledge base, and it makes absolutely no difference if we go around the moon, for all I care. Literally, it makes absolutely no difference what that's his response to somebody describing the Copernican model, and it's used an example to say the map is not the terrain. This is a reification fallacy. Don't necessarily fill your mind with the models of other men who are trying to tell you how the world works, because it's just a model, and find your own way of living. Don't necessarily follow everyone else's truth. And he's doing it in that kind of manner, as opposed to a direct translation of the map is not the terrain. Is that you clicking, Tent Man?
It might be me. It's me. I'll go on mute.
It's okay.
That's a good point. Last week was a good show in bringing that out. I can't remember which other show on top of the ones you just said, but I had the opportunity to kind of dovetail off of it and talk to some people over the weekend. We went to a little barbecue on Sunday too, and it was funny because I said to them, the topic, hang on, let me see if I could put this in context. I think it was gravity or something like that. And then I said, so what is it? And something to that effect. And I said, well, it's an effect. And they take something that we experience on the daily basis. They they back engineer it to fit their model. And you grow up with all the language supporting a model that someone back engineered a natural thing that you observe all the time. And so we end up growing up calling it gravity. But could it be something else? Big question mark, smile on my face. Well, what else could it be? And then that started the conversation.
Cool.
Yeah, so it really is that simple to just say, could it be something else? And they just call it gravity, and we've just been conditioned with the movies and everything else to grow up thinking it is, and it fits their Copernicus model, and blah blah blah.
Did you have a chance to check out Thrice 8 Hermes by any chance?
I've actually in the past have. I think you posted a link at one time. I haven't gone since. So let's see if he's on my subscription list, because I don't go to too many things. That's my so I can't remember.
Really interesting character. He's an ex-monk. Christian monk.
Yeah, I think I remember you saying that. Yeah, all subscriptions, and it's THRICE. Would that be the way?
Yeah, thrice, as in once, twice, thrice.
Got it. Right channel. Okay. Subscriptions, list all. Scroll.
Yeah, thrice 8, so like 888, and then Hermes is like the jester.
Got it.
So typically has his background set to being like a morose-looking jester in a chair, looking rather depressed.
Yeah, under my T, I don't see him, so let me just go download, go to his channel. THRICE 888.
Yeah.
Hermes, HERMES, or
HERMES.
HERMES, yes, what I hit.
I think it's the number 8 as opposed to written out.
How many 8s? One?
Just one.
Oh,
so the title is
3.
Thrice 8. I'm not saying in Old English to put 3 8s in. Come on.
Yeah, that's what I did.
No, the channel name is Thrice 8 Hermes,
That's
as opposed
funny.
to me going, oh,
That's
yes,
exactly what I did. That was
Thrice
so
8.
Well, he said thrice 8. Okay, so I type THRICE 8 HERMES, right?
Yeah, you're there.
If I could spell Hermes right. Okay, here we go. It's showing up a bunch of channels, but his channel Thrice 8 Hermes Thrice. What they got someone Hermes Thrice?
Do I need to go and find you a link? Is that what you're hinting?
Yeah, find me a link. Find me a link, because they're
Okay.
not showing it.
No worries. Let's do that now.
Isn't that funny? I spell it right, I do it right, and I can't find it. But I get all these other Hermes guys. You can put in Master B.
I've got to find it first.
Oh, yeah, you too now. Good luck.
Subscribe to about 600 YouTube channels, so take me a while.
Should be alphabetical, right?
Yeah, I'm just scrolling through.
There's 600 YouTube channels that start with T.
No, there's probably about 50. Taboo Conspiracy, Taboo Conspiracy 2, Take Back Space TV, Talent Playground, Tasty PC, Tavarish. We'll get there. Of course, there's a lot of THs. Here we go. I've given it you wrong. So it's THRICE 8, all one word. Hermes, HERMES. So it's THRICE 8 space HERMES.
Got it. Yeah. Okay, subscribe. Notification. Okie dokie, I'm on.
Quote from freedomofmind.com on the Byte model. Many people think of mind control as an ambiguous, mystical process that cannot be defined in concrete terms. In reality, mind control refers to a specific set of methods and techniques, such as hypnosis or thought stopping, that influence how a person thinks, feels, and acts. In this model, Byte stands for behavior, information, thought, and emotional control. This morning, I made a comparison of Steve Hassan's Byte model of cult mind control technique with my own experiences as a monk in an Orthodox Christian monastery. It seems that I was subject to every single one of the points on his model. This work is off the top of my head and slightly stream of consciousness. It is published on my blog, which I have left the link in the description. As it is according to a framework, there are some overlaps and some jumping around chronologically. It is just a fraction of what I could say. Now, my experience is not as sensational as sex abuse cults. I have no evidence of sexual abuse at my old monastery, but it has happened in several Orthodox Christian monasteries. However, sexual or physical abuse is not the essence of cults. It is the brainwashing, love bombing, and ongoing mind control through fear, obedience, gaslighting, and emotional manipulation. Here is a question anyone should ask. How can a man who has not achieved any personal holiness demand obedience from others? If the blind follow the blind, both will fall into a pit. Here is a rule. If you ever meet a man claiming spiritual enlightenment, he is a fraud and a deceiver. Beware of false prophets. Here is a defense. The map is not the terrain. Cultists want you to accept their maps and for you to make them your terrain. I have only scratched the surface of what I underwent. I do not want to fight the monastery as I feel that binds you to it. But I do want to soberly express in words the things that happened to me, for my own sake.
So yeah, that's a bit of a taster of Thrice 8 Hermes, and that video was called I Was Mind Controlled in an Orthodox Christian Monastery. And I've stuck a link in. Although it kind of won't go to the audience this is being recorded for because we haven't started the live show yet. But nevertheless, that's Thrice 8 Hermes.
That was excellent.
I just picked that at random. Literally, I picked that at random. I was like, I'd just play a bit of one of his videos and see how it goes. But it's one of those that I've watched. I don't think I've watched all of his videos as yet on YouTube. I know he's got a blog spot which I haven't even touched yet, and that'll be where I go next when I run out of videos. But you kind of watch one, then you watch the next, then you watch the next, and you're like, it doesn't seem to matter which one you click on; they're all good.
Yeah, that was really excellent. I mean, and the way he talks, it's easy to understand. His words are clear, and you know, I've had so many experiences running into people in the cults and occults, but on the cult side, they take some of the Bible and then they create the same atmosphere that this person just talked about and start controlling people. And then I'd run into some of the followers back in the day, and then I'd say, well, what does the Bible say? And then the Bible would say the opposite of what the cult was teaching them. I said, well, if you have a choice to follow the Bible or a man, what would you choose? And how would you discern the truth? If someone in this cult is taking a portion of scripture and saying it means this, and then a totally different cult takes the same scripture and says it means this, how would you know the truth? And so this is how I would start talking to them and realize easily that they were just mind controlled. Well, he'd never lied to me. I mean, there's so much love there, and we're just a good, community. And I said, look, at the end of the day, you got to believe the Bible and the Scripture that the Holy Spirit will illuminate to you. And if it's different than what anybody says, and it's obvious, then someone's lying. Someone is using it to control you. And so everything he said, I've experienced with cultists. It was fantastic.
I hope a few people get as much enjoyment out of watching his videos as I do. He introduced me to something called the honk pill, which I was discussing actually the other day with John LeBon. So he mentioned on one of his videos that he was going to be taking a hiatus from Fakeologist, which people may or may not be aware of. But anyway, so I went into their Discord server. He left a handy link. I wasn't actually a member, but he left a link that took you straight into the membership of it. I was like, great. Other than it making you wait 10 minutes before you could post a message, I just literally sat there for 10 minutes in the kitchen waiting for the message to come out. And as soon as I did, they invited me in to have a chat, and JLB was there, which was great. And he explained that he's actually have several calls with Thrice 8 Hermes, and he's a fairly big influence on JLB also. I was like, oh, what a happy coincidence. So yeah, he was like, you should interview the guy. I was like, I don't even know who he is. I've watched it. It's just a YouTuber to me at this stage, but by the same token, very good YouTuber. I'm fascinated by what he does.
Yeah, I remember that topic of monks and monasteries, and I said, why would anybody go lock themselves? I mean, that's not what the Scripture teaches. It says go out into the world and proclaim the gospel. It doesn't say go lock up yourself anywhere. I mean, it's the opposite of everything.
I have no answer for that. Maybe I should try and see if I can interview the guy. I've plugged him enough times in the last couple of weeks.
Oh, no, I'm not saying that from that point of view. I'm just saying that organizations like to have one up or a higher spirituality than the guy next door kind of a deal. So they'll create the system of seniority, like, oh, he's a monk, or he went to this monastery for 10 years and he didn't say a word for 3 of those 10. I mean, you hear these stories and stuff. It's like, wait a minute. First of all, it says to have faith like a little child. And you're supposed to take the gospel out to people. You're not supposed to hide yourself in a monk and try to say to yourself, okay, I hear in this place I will face less temptation than out there. When we're supposed to face temptation, fight it, and share with others the good news. And these organizations try to mind control people into this other thing that's never even stated in the Scripture. It's just the way people are and organizations are.
Yeah, like I say, I don't have any answer for that. Grandmother was a missionary. She definitely went out there, as was her first son, my uncle.
Mm-hmm. Well, missionaries are different. They go out. They don't go hide.
That's what I'm saying. I can't speak on the subject because
Yeah.
I just remember, obviously not my grandmother. She was 100 when she died a couple of years ago, so obviously she wasn't out and about then. But certainly my uncle, I'd be talking to him from some foreign country over the phone. At one point, I would be in a various foreign country, and so would he. It's just weird.
Wow. Yeah.
But he was like what do you call a pastor? I think is the correct term. Pastor, is that right?
Yeah, pastor teacher.
Pastor, missionary. He went out all over the place, staying at various schools and things.
Nice. Yeah, I'm thinking of doing a Sunday, on my cooking channel. I'm thinking of doing, because everything's under 10 minutes. So I'm thinking on Sunday doing just a scripture reading under 10 minutes and just allowing the scriptures to.
It's a cooking channel, though.
So, what's that?
Cooking channel.
Yeah, my 10th Man Dishes. Because I named it.
Go on.
I named it 10th Man Dishes so I could dish anything out. So if I want to do something on flat Earth,
yeah, that makes sense.
If I want to do something on flat Earth, I'll dish flat Earth out. If I want to do food, it starts with food though.
Looking at scriptures and my uncle, that's kind of tied two things together, as it was one of the first things I did after finding out the Earth was flat, or accepting an appreciation for the obvious and observable nature of our reality. Because of his sort of his Christian faith, I certainly didn't have that at the time. I wanted to know his opinion on it. So, like, what's your opinion on this based on the Bible scriptures that I now know, and etc. etc. So I did an interview with him at my grandmother's. So I've got she's probably about 99 years old at the time, sat listening in to me interview him and tell him about the world being flat, explain that the moon landings are all fake, all that sort of stuff. And that's like literally the earliest thing. I think it's on the second channel, Nathan Oakley channel.
It's over there recorded?
Yeah, it's just my uncle's name and then an interview with, I think so it's something like an interview with Adrian Hawkins on Flat Earth.
Oh, okay.
Hawkins,
I'll go check it out.
It's because Sean Hawkins is trolling me. So yeah, an interview with Adrian Hawks. And I think it might be on both channels actually. I think I split it up and tried to fiddle with the audio because it was just like a camera phone on a tripod and it wasn't that great, the audio.
Yeah, I remember watching one of your old ones when you were on the train and you were talking about the word perspective. Escapes me. But it was one of your older ones, and you were on the train and you were describing something. You recall?
I don't know. It could be anything. I've got about 2,500 videos.
Yeah, let's see. It's that one word that. He'll come to me. It's has to do about seeing far and close, and what's that called?
Angular resolution limit, diffraction limit.
No, it's another word.
Foreshortening.
No. He'll come. I hate this part of my age. It's there, but it's not there.
Not to worry.
Parallax.
Parallax? I don't ever remember speaking about parallax. Fair enough.
You were talking about parallax. It was a younger you.
It's a different me because obviously I've mentioned parallax at some point, I'm sure, but like I'm mentioning it now, I don't remember having any deep discussions about parallax, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah. No, this whole discussion is fantastic because it gets people to just give you that look, and the ones that are interested will say, "Oh, don't tell me you're a flat earther," or they'll say, "Oh, you actually believe the Earth is flat? How come?" Which is rare. Normally, they laugh and try to avoid you.
Five minutes and we'll start.
Isn't it funny? People will have conversations about Tooth Fairy, Santa Claus, all these things, but the minute you bring up flat Earth, oh, well, okay then.
It's because we've been programmed to be against it. Like in cartoons and stuff like that, I remember Flat Earth being ridiculed.
Yeah, it's some programming because it's the majority of responses is a condescending, "You're not that stupid, are you? I mean, I thought you were smart," kind of a look. Instead of, "Why do you think the Earth is flat?" That's the best question to anything you ever hear. Why are you saying what you're saying?
But, it's like what we're up against is, universities and all this education and NASA and space photos. Like, it's such a hard one to explain to people, I guess.
Well, which is harder to explain people, an astronaut on high wires from a NASA feed, or that we saw pictures of an astronaut in space? They're both pictures. How come I got the one showing the blue screen behind him and the harnesses on his hips, where it's supposed to be zero gravity and he should be floating? Which one of those pictures are you talking about?
Yeah, all the space
You like it,
bubbles.
huh? I got pictures too. And it's from them.
I think that's it. 'Cause, we have pictures, and that's where they stop. They won't look into it. They won't analyze it. They'll just, we got pictures. And this goes over their head.
Well, I got pictures too. If we're going to go on pictures. Where's that geometric horizon? Where is that physical curve? If we live on a sphere, where did it go?
It never existed to begin with. It only exists in a, begging the question, proof of nothing perspective hijacking Earth curve calculator.
It never existed from the beginning is over the target.
Yeah, it did never exist to begin with.
Thought experiment.
Yeah, thought experiments.
That's why they can't find it,
I've got-
because it never was there.
I've got a video I put together with like long distance measurements and black swans and stuff. I don't know if I can. It's like a little 5-minute video. Don't know if I can go through it, or I don't want to get you, was it copyright banned or something?
Is it yours?
Just photos from other people.
Photos from other people. Tell me more.
From, is it Taboo Conspiracy? Just some other flat earthers channels, really.
Okay, so it's a compilation video. Have you made the compilation from stills of other people's material? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, that should be fine. As long as you've got no moving
There's
images or
just-
sound.
Just one from Discovery Channel, that when they said,
Yeah, but is it stills or is it moving images?
yeah, or
All stills. That's fine.
so it's just like a bunch of it, and just go through.
Can you stick the link in live stream and I'll ask politely if Righteous or 10th Man can share it.
It'll have to be Righteous.
You there, Righteous?
Yeah.
Hopefully you can figure that out in a minute because I'm going to start now.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, how dare you, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by Righteous Force and 10th Man in G+, together with a whole bunch of people in Discord, so welcome one and all.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning.
G'day.
So Nathan's apprentice wants to go through a presentation, so we'll rattle our way through housekeeping questions and then hopefully we'll crack on with whatever it is you want to present. Any signs of a physical Earth curve edge, formerly known as the geometric horizon, or Earth curve?
Not film, Snellville, Georgia.
Not from Pembrokeshire, West Wales.
Any signs of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety?
Nope. No rotations.
Nada.
Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
No
There.
measurements, but it's over there, as Arvin would say.
He's not even here to say it, is he? Hey, Paul.
I
Good
did
morning,
see a
how do you
debate where a guy took the measurements of the sun and compared it with a flat Earth to a round Earth, and
Oh, really? He measured the sun's apparent position in the sky, did he? How big is the sun according to him?
yeah, he just assumed with a round and assumed with a flat, and just. But then again, yeah, we don't know how the sun's rays are coming in or how the sun behaves.
We don't know what the sun is, or how big it is, or how far it is. So when someone claims to have measured it, they've got to make an assumption somewhere along the line.
True.
Apparently they have.
Well, flat earthers are guilty of this as much as globe earthers. Like I say, you've got to make certain assumptions if you're going to measure the distance to the sun, because you don't know what it is, or where it is, or how high it is, or how far it is, or what it is. So, all you've got to go on is its angular size. Well, its apparent size. It's not actual size. That's not very useful, unfortunately. Moving on. Any scientific evidence of gravity? Come on, roll on gravity. Come on, come on.
You get me down.
What's gravity
You get
again?
me down every day.
What's gravity again? At the moment, it's just the chantings and murmurings of fundamentalist religious zealot when they've been smashed in their religion. Gravity, 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 gravity.
See, so
Dave.
far I've heard it's so far it's a mass attracting mass, weight, or bending of a conceptual medium. So those all have very different definitions, don't they?
Look, gravity is not a force, but you can think of it as whatever the hell you like.
Yep.
Hey, Arwin.
Afternoon.
Any single viable hypothesis from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics?
No.
Observe and
What was that?
observe and declare.
Shout out to Slick James Johnson. Observe and declare, you say? Indeedy. Just so stories. Shout out to Quantum Eraser. Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
No evidence.
They claim seismic waves, but they couldn't get that right at 12.
Did Paul Voigt ever come back with the evidence?
Did he hell? No.
Anybody heard from him since then?
No, just Sleeping Warrior poking him every so often. He'll make an appearance somewhere else, and like I say...
Okay, but he's still around.
I think so. He lurks occasionally. Shout out to Good Servant for the super chat. Just gives me money. Thank you very much indeed. Really appreciate the support.
Yeah.
Shout out right
Good
back
servant
at you.
is ace.
Did I hear shout out retracted? Oh, it's Quantum Eraser.
I said, you gave me a shout out. I gave you a shout out right back at you. Also, did he say, I don't know who was speaking before, did he say that they had an experiment about the sun distance?
Yeah, a guy was on a
Ooh, that
debate,
should be good.
and yeah, he just
Want to take that light? Want to tell us? Okay, so it was an experiment, right? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
So, what's the phenomena observed, please?
I guess shadows from
Shadows from the sun is the dependent variable. What is the independent variable?
I don't know. He just took measurements. He just took the sticks and shadows kind of
Don't
thing.
embarrass yourself, man. Just stop while you're ahead. Just take the loss and continue on.
I'm right there.
Just stick it in the ground.
The flatties are just as guilty of this. You know, they'll come up with a 3,000 to 11,000 mile sun based on their claimed measurements of this apparent position in the sky. Just a couple more. Any evidence of the R value? It's used everywhere. It's very, very universally utilised. There must be some evidence of this R value. Debunked by the Black Swan. Any evidence of the R value?
Yes, there must be R because the Earth is a globe.
Beyond a fundamentalist religious presupposition and assertion, is there any evidence of the R value?
No.
You'd need to have an R to have evidence. So since there's lack of evidence, there's no R. Black Swan.
They used to use the presupposition of R inserted into photographic evidence that was turned side on to give them their single point in geometry as a claim to be horizon that blocked boats from the bottom up. Oh, look at that. Got National Geographic's example on screen right now. You used to have a geometric sphere edge to block stuff, didn't they? Shame. Black Swan debunked that, imploding the entire model.
It's easy to put an X mark on a piece of paper with a side-on view, but actually showing it, yeah.
It's a happy coincidence as well that this example on screen now from National Geographic was debunked, along with the help of some flat earthers, out at a lake when they produced their own Black Swan with a horizon beyond where they claimed the geometric horizon was blocking a boat that had the horizon actually behind it. Amazing that National Geographic should produce such high quality Black Swan evidence that debunks the R value. But I found that useful. I put together a little Black Swan video on their behalf. Thank them for going down to the lake and giving us such a high quality Black Swan. So shout out to National Geographic for fundamentally destroying the religious fundamentalist assertion of heliocentricity. Good job, good job. Last but by no means least, any evidence that you can have gas pressure without the necessary antecedent of a container to press upon?
Ooh.
We're still waiting for that one.
Yeah.
I guess according to Rumpus, I listened to the show on Saturday. So I guess according to Rumpus, because balls come back to the ground, gas particles come back to the ground.
Yeah, he actually said that.
So ridiculous.
He literally said that gas behaves like bouncy balls, and yes, it will go up at 5,000 miles per hour and then come back down again like a bouncy ball. What a clown.
Well, they would if there was a container to bounce off.
Yeah, but they wouldn't unless, like you say, they've got a container. But even then, they're not going to behave like a solid, which is only coming back down because of its relative density and the lack of energy that you've put into it to throw it up in the first place. As a ball, a solid object, would behave if you threw it in the air. You know, you're forcing it out of equilibrium by picking it up and throwing it, and it's just going to try and return to whence it came, i.e. return to equilibrium, i.e. it'll hit the ground, right? But gas doesn't behave like that. You know, at a fundamental level, it's completely unbonded. It's just going to bounce around here, there, and everywhere in all directions.
I mean,
Right,
does the ball?
If the ball was exactly, hold on, if the ball was the weight of air, though, then maybe it kind of would just.
What the unholy, the weight of air. Weight means you're putting it on a scale, right? And a fundamental
That's a
level.
density.
Oh, he's interrupting me. So knows he's smashed. Behaving like a baller has its downsides, Arwin, because you're wired to interrupt after something's demolished your argument. Yeah, so down, right, would only account for one of the vectors that the gas is actually experiencing, and it's experiencing like an infinite number of vectors. It's going in all directions. So you can't just say, well, wait, because that's only one direction down relative to the medium that you're measuring it in, with the assumption that you're measuring it in a relative medium of air with a scale with all of those principles applied. Just in case anyone gives me crap in the comments, you can all go suck it.
Well, there's another important element about. Sorry, I'm breaking in again. There's another important element about it, and that is that gas relative density only really starts to apply when there is an equilibrium found within the container in order for gas to settle to that point in the first place. Because if it's still in an open, vacuous container, it's still going to be in the middle of just rushing everywhere with violent speed.
Oh, wait, what's
You
this
know,
settle word? What's that being inserted for exactly? What do you mean by settle?
Reach the equilibrium within the container.
That's reaching equilibrium, but that's not settling.
Okay.
You know,
Can I ask the question?
liquids can settle, solids can settle, gases, even at a fundamental level, actually, I'm wrong about both liquid and solid, but nevertheless, at a more obvious level, gases definitely don't settle.
Paul,
Here's
go
a
ahead
question.
before I come in.
Okay. Question. Gas wants to fill all available microstates. Am I correct? I got a follow-up question.
The microstate example is the one I'm most weak on. I understand it at a basic level, but yes, correct. It wants to occupy all of the available microstates that it has available to it.
Okay. Now, does a basketball or a ball want to fill all available microstates?
Well, it depends on what level you look at it. Yeah, entropy still applies to that ball. Given enough time, the ball will decay. You know, it will experience change over time, won't it?
No, I remember he's equating the ball, the gas particle, is the same as a ball. So does a bouncy ball want to fill all available microstates? I've never seen that happen with a bouncy ball. Have you? Come on now.
No, within a very short period of time, no. You're definitely not going to experience that. Probably not within your lifetime either. No.
So right off the bat, you have a false equivalency. That's all I was going after.
It is. It's using a false equivalency. It's saying that gas behaves like solid in this example, or Rumpus's example. Gas that's expanding at high speed at high velocity suddenly decides to change its mind at the Kármán line and burn its bra and say, "Hey, I will not obey gas law. I should have something to bounce off here, but I'm going to go the other way anyway. Or, in fact, I'm just going to give up. I'm going to fall back to the ground." Because I was actually, you know, sentient in my choice of travelling in this direction at this velocity, and I'm going to decide to stop, and then I'm going to fall back down to the ground, because that's what I do when I stop, because that's how I behave as a sentient gas particle. Or they'll just carry on at high speed, which is how they actually behave.
Or they would say, or they'll say the gas particle got tired, and it's like, I just can't go any further, and falls back down to the ground.
Yeah, it's like a depressed teenager.
No, it'll burn,
exactly.
No, it'll burn its bra in rebellion.
Yeah,
Gandalf's
exactly.
up there with a stick.
Go on. We're just having fun with analogies. That sounded like something actual. Go on, whoever that was. Was it Darren?
He said something about a stick.
About their
Go on, John.
Well, they're claiming an inertial force with the whole gravity thing, right? Like, there's a way to test if you can have gas pressure in an open container within a vacuum. You know, they could put it in a cup and try spinning it up to speed and keeping it in there, couldn't they?
No. On every level, no.
But see, even now, the illustrations are false equivalency. So centrifugal force is the same as the so-called gravity. That's what they're saying. So I don't have a circular motion keeping me in a cup. You know what I mean? I don't. Sorry, that doesn't work either.
Well, it wouldn't work on gas anyway. It only works on liquids. They equivocate between liquid and gas all the time.
Yeah, hydrostatic.
Yeah, right. That's what I was getting at, but everybody took it the wrong way.
No, not at all. No, I know where you're going. Same as Paul's point, basically, but you're just making it a bit more detailed with how they equivocate. They utilise hydrostatic and explain that gas is behaving like a liquid, when in reality it's describing a circumstance that certainly isn't gas-like in any way, shape or form, and is only achievable if you force gas into a position where it's got no gaps between it. It doesn't mean that the gas is suddenly bonded like liquid, but it will behave in a liquid-like manner when it's forced under those conditions. Well, the gas we breathe certainly isn't in any way hydrostatic. The reason it's described as hydro, water, static, not moving, is because the description is also, again, a hypothetical situation where gas isn't moving. Well, gas is moving. It's got energy. It's moving at high speeds. So it's never going to be static. In the same way as it's never going to settle. When I explained to Arwin, well, no, gas doesn't settle. Well, it's never static. In the same way as it doesn't settle.
So what about stale air then?
Stale air? Well, a bit like, should we gonna equivocate with pond scum or something now?
That's not a joke, okay? Stale air, it's a thing.
It's in a container, Arwin.
It's within a container.
Absolutely. Oh, I'm not talking about not a container being there. That's why I brought up earlier. Look, if there is an outer space vacuum, the gas would never settle, as I just called it, because it would still just be rushing everywhere. It can't reach an equilibrium as long as it hasn't filled the container yet. So
it's very simple. If you watch the imagery of a high altitude balloon, when it gets to the highest point and then it pops, the balloon in fragment pieces is not going up anymore. The gas escapes and the balloon comes down.
No, you've missed what Arwin's done. He's too sharp for you, 10th man. What he's just done is he's installed a time frame that's extremely short. Now, the time frame does exist, and he's not ever going to be wrong on what he's asserting. But what he's describing is that fraction of a microsecond in the demonstration where you've got the two bulbs and you open the valve between the two. Well, obviously, there's a point where the first and the second and the third molecule goes in and starts to bounce. But it's pretty much, I have to use a weasel word because of Arwin, pretty much instantaneous. But in the same way as if you watch an explosion with a high-speed camera, obviously you've got things being vaporized, right? And that will dissipate into the atmosphere over a period of time, right? Well, Arwin's appealing to that. He's just weaseled it in here, and no one's noticed. So I'm just going to cut his legs off because I'm a complete bastard.
No,
well, then
I was arguing for our side.
Hear that pitch? Hear that high pitch? That's a tell, just in case anybody doesn't realise.
I got a question for Arwin then. How much time in my balloon?
That was something I was going to have Paul on, because while Paul was having the debate with Rumpus about space-time, Rumpus described digging a hole, and all he did was just give a physical analogy to the question I'd asked. Now, obviously, I wasn't going to interrupt. It was Paul's bag at the time, but it's like he's just basically transposed how much time in a cubic meter into digging a hole and not giving you the amount of time in it. Right, but it was quite sneaky, but nevertheless, just thought I'd mention that.
Yeah, but they can only try to give you analogies as to how they conceptualize it, because you can't just name these things. You can't just give an answer to the question, because it's all just describing the effect. That's everything they always do concerning the space-time bending. It's always some kind of metaphor. Never really a causal explanation or a direct answer.
Nah, you can see space-time.
Doesn't exist.
It's really easy to see the fabric of space-time. It's not a metaphor. What are you talking about? I can sew with that fabric. Making the Emperor some new clothes.
It's real. It's real.
Ruining my joke.
Did we forget that the hole in a donut is space-time? Excuse me.
That's
ruined my joke.
That's just subpar.
Hey, on the weekend,
What's going on, guys?
Hey,
Chocolate.
On the weekend, we had a neighbor with an excavator, and he said, "Do you need it for anything?" And I said, "Yeah, if I could borrow it for a couple of hours." So his son came over, this really powerful excavator, and he dug a maybe 8 by 8 foot hole for a future septic tank and a 40-foot leach line, 4 feet deep.
How much time?
So it took time to dig the hole. But that's it.
Yeah, but once you got the hole, how much time was there in there? By volume.
I don't know how to measure that.
You can't give me pseudo-Ramonian a time. Hold on, time by volume.
How long did you work on it?
Oh, I'm getting rumpus.
Time by volume.
I'm getting rumpus though. No, it's not coming through clearly.
Time by volume. Who said that?
Oh, it did come through. Oh, excellent.
I stressed
0.38 nanoseconds.
I stressed it. Time by volume, classic.
Anyway, I think that's we're done with the housekeeping. So we've got in the wings. I don't know if Righteous is ready to present what he had up before Nathan's Apprentice. If you haven't lost interest.
Hey, no.
Just for the record, much better than Nathan turns on me.
Thought I'd turn it down.
There, righteous. Maybe not. Maybe we'll talk about something else.
Maybe Discord's having trouble again.
No, I'm here. I was just on mute.
Oh, sorry.
I had too many screens open. Give me a sec.
Okay, as Righteous is sorting that out, do you want to start telling us what you're telling us? Assume that it's on screen now for the audience. It will be shortly.
Yeah, just a lot of photos and long distance measurements, black swans, horizon, just all sorts. Just a bit of space trickery with the photos. Jay Tolan. Just bits and pieces, really. I just try to squash it into 5 minutes as much as I could. And so, I've got the Jay Tolan photos. What was it? The Jacinto Mountain should be kind of hidden or just at the tip. This guy plugged it into an Earth curve calculator or software. And so I'm just showing kind of both sides and then Jay Tolan, he calculated the mountain to be actually 6,500 foot. The mountains of Canigou should be hidden 1,000 foot curvature. Then we've got this Chicago, is it? Should actually be 1,000 foot because of observer height. Just all sorts of photos here, just where the horizon should be. I don't know if I'm in time with the video, but I'm just going to...
You're not in time with the argument. What do you mean should be?
Oh, just with the observer height and when you plug it into the calculator. But these are all the mirror tests.
Same question applies. Why would that be should be where the horizon is? I don't get it.
Sorry, which photo?
Any photo. Why is it that you're telling us that you're comparing this to, begging the question, proof of nothing, perspective hijacking Earth curve calculator, and then telling us where stuff should or shouldn't be based on that calculation? So you're saying, well, the horizon should be here, should be there. No. What I mean by you're late in the argument is none of this is really relevant, and I don't want to be appearing harsh because I appreciate you've done some work on this, but this argument's been superseded. So back in the day when they had a farcical assumption that we could only draw by saying, well, it's a ludicrous assumption and pointing out why, there was still their justification that they can assume Earth's a sphere and then run the numbers through this calculator. But since then, there's absolutely no feasible and justifiable way to ever use the calculator again. The fundamental premise of the calculation, the R value, has been debunked. So you don't ever need to... it's also a reification fallacy. So to take that model and say, well, the model says this, that, and the other is going to happen, therefore... when I compare it to a photo, the model's the starting point of what it says we should or shouldn't see. So when I describe a picture, I'll say, there's this much more than we should see. Well, no, it should be the other way around. This is what the picture shows. That's reality. What the model says is, at the moment, inconsequential anyway, but if you want to compare the picture to the model and how much reality shows versus what the model claims we're going to see, then that would be the correct phraseology. But you're terming it in a way that irks me because you're saying what should or shouldn't be there and you're phrasing it with reference to what a bloody model says. Well, no, that's not what should or shouldn't be there. Just not being nitpicky, that's just where we are in the argument, and I'm going to lay it down thick from now on. This is superseded. Hey, that's my observation.
Just showing, boats over the horizon, but when you lower your angle of attack.
Wait, hold on. Is there a measurement to a geometric horizon somewhere in that calculator?
No, not anymore. That's the point.
But it looks like there's one, but we're currently being told we don't see the geometric horizon.
Yeah, it's just
what
a
is
random...
that? What is that calculating then?
Useless pile of crap, not worthy of doing it. It's me in a dress. What's all that about?
It's calculating the
Look, right, that photo wasn't supposed to reach the public.
How
did that get in there? My wife has obviously let some photos loose that shouldn't have been.
What was even funnier was Nathan saying, I'm going to lay it down from now on. Hey, that's my picture.
So yeah, I get you. Like shouldn't be use the Earth curve calculator and all that, but I guess it's just like a starting point, or I don't know.
I get it. I get
somewhere
it. You were just reminiscing on the good old days when they used to say that we would see this much hidden because of this certain distance, or this geometric horizon at this much distance. Yeah. That's back in the day when they used to assert that it was a physical, actual edge of a sphere. So I get it. Good old days.
Chocolate was quick off the mark the other day when this came up, and I think it was you actually that did it, and Chocolate jumped in and said, we see it because it's there. It might have been, actually it might have been the other, it might have been Mind Warped.
Yeah, that was me.
But yeah, you jumped in and was like, no, we see this because it's there. Not how much we should or shouldn't see based on the distance. No, we just see it. It's just there. You've got a picture of it. What do you want a proof that we should see it? No, it's a picture of it. But no, it should be this or that or the. No, it shouldn't. No, the model doesn't dictate reality. That's reification. That's the problem. That's what we've overcome. Now, the justifiable reason to reify the R value was merely that we haven't disproved that it's not a sphere as far as they're concerned. Now, obviously, at the time before the Black Swan, BS. Or BBS? BBS?
Could I use the bathroom on the...
Yeah, it's on the left, mate. What's going on? Yeah, you can use the bathroom. There's a live show going on. Get out of here.
That was a classic lead-in line.
We're debunking Earth curve here, mate.
Claim of...
Go speak to the concierge. What's your problem?
Damn it.
In my mind, or if I was a globetard, right, thinking in their shoes, all I would want at this point is some way of weaseling in a way of utilising the begging the question, proof of nothing, perspective hijacking curve calculator again. Because we've debunked it. So, some ham-handed way of saying, well, it's okay because of this. Without just having somebody go, Black Swan. And then watching the ensuing chaos amongst fundies who start justifying whether or not we've got two horizons.
I think
and you'd be trying to figure out how to catch it. You'd be trying to figure out how to hire a slobber nurse staff.
Is that a difficult task?
Yeah. You said if you were a baltard, so if you're a baltard, you got big problems like decent slobber nurses staff.
How about Nurse Ratchet?
Well, let's just keep it even-handed. So, in the same way, right, the azimuthal equidistant projection doesn't work in many different ways that can be justified and shown to be incorrect by the globe side of this argument. Now, that being said, there's going to be a certain number of people that like that model so much that they want to defend it at all costs, maybe ignore some of the things that are incorrect or not right about it, or justify them and say, yeah, I know this isn't right, but I'll still use it anyway because it's a useful tool, blah, blah, blah. All the excuses under the sun to just hold true to a model that's still just a model, just a bit of pseudoscience you like using. Okay.
Yeah, I've been conducting because every 6 months we should be on the other side of the sun and should see completely new stars. But I know I've been looking at the same stars for the last 6 months now.
There you go again. Should be on the other side of the sun, should we? Should be heliocentric in our thinking, should we?
Oh, just like their model, it just says.
Yeah, but your wiring is off. It's not your fault. We're all, or at least at some stage, we were all in the same unfortunate position you find yourself in. You've got heliocentric wiring, right? So when you're phrasing stuff, you've still got the mindset that you're hurtling around the sun, and what should be happening based on us travelling around the sun is this. But we found an area with what should be happening. No, hold on. We shouldn't be of a mindset that thinks we're travelling around the sun, i.e. the heliocentric way of thinking. That's just a model. It's just a way of potentially visualizing or conceptualizing the stars and how they move. But to suddenly say, well, because the model describes something for my recognition and cognition as us being on the other side of the moon, that means that we should be at this point in the year on the other side of the moon. That's the step of reification. Now, while you might be well aware that we're not hurtling around the moon, your wiring and therefore your verbiage dictates that you're opposing a position that should be the case, but is just a model.
Wait, so Nathan, so if I see a clock tower at 20 miles away, am I really seeing a clock tower, or what? What's your take on that?
Well, you've got two choices. You can either see a clock tower and take a picture of it and say clock tower, and to identify who would be the type of person to say that, a flat earther or realist would say clock tower, and then if you choose to, you can say how far away you can see it at. Now, if you're a fundamentalist religious zealot globetard with a belief in sphere Earth, it's not a clock tower. It's a slightly looming non-standard refraction hyena holographic projection of a clock tower from behind the edge of a reified sphere, also known as the geometric horizon, based on a begging the question proof of nothing perspective hijacking curve calculator. So it's a hologram. We would just say it's a clock tower and there it is. They would say it's a hologram slightly looming non-standard refraction hyena because my calculator said so, when I assume that's been debunked by the Black Swan. I just say clock tower. You would say clock tower. Most people would say clock tower until they're told that it shouldn't be there, in that phraseology, on a sphere. And then they go, oh, well, we can't see it though, so it must be a mirage.
When they say refraction, they're actually equivocating.
Or doing a bait and switch, substituting in terrestrial geometric 7/6 of the radius value, or any value they insert if it doesn't work slightly one way or the other. But based on geometry, the R value inserted into their version of refraction, which is a geometric 7/6 of the radius value, yeah, they might be performing a bait and switch when they talk and sound intelligent when they talk about actual atmospheric effects that ultimately they'd need to remove altogether and suck out the atmosphere if they're ever going to actually achieve a geometric horizon, something that we cannot see and is not apparent. But they'll draw a line of sight of it anyway, without any optics being considered. Only Muppet vision. Side-on view with your own head in the maths.
I love the analogy of sitting at the table, about to do a deal, and you open the briefcase and you show me a geometric horizon. You show me an R value. And then we close that, put that away, and pull out some bullshit terrestrial refraction. I love that.
Yeah, exactly. You talk about the globe Earth and how it's all globy, and then someone says, well, what about this mirror band that you've got? And they go, well, that would be an optical effect of blah, 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 blah. And it's accounted for in my model here with 7/6R. You go, really? Wow. What kind of refraction's that? Well, that would be this magical geometric refraction that's the same as all the optical effects I've just talked intelligently about. It's called terrestrial refraction. Magic, eh? And it assumes my sphere Earth that I've just been talking about, so that's just wonderful, right? If you don't know the correct response by now, it's Black Swan.
So it gets me like these people are, they seem somewhat not smart, but like educated or whatever, and still defending the ball and won't, I don't know, just like Rumpus and his boats going over the curve. That's the only way it can happen.
Pride or retarded, one or the other. It's either pride or they're just retarded.
But you're right, that's what they would assert in their column. The only assertion, or the only causal reason for boats disappearing from bottom up is that they're going over the curve of the Earth. That's a single assertion in their column. And if they say, oh no, we account for optics, it's the bait and switch of 7/6R terrestrial refraction, a geometric value that they insert on top of their side-on geometry to begin with. But it all hangs on R. The R value is absolutely crucial. You require a geometric horizon if you're on a sphere. And their geometric horizon is based on 3959 radius, which is the key value in that calculator that you've shown us today. So if the Earth is a sphere with a radius of 3959, then every distance to horizon measurement must be no more than 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. Now, given that we've got a 1 foot observation of these oil platforms at with a demarcation point of 6 and 9 miles roughly, it shows that the horizon, which should be based on a 1 foot observer height 1.2 miles away, at way beyond 10 miles. So at that point you can justify it with the calculator's mathematics, or Al-Biruni's maths, to work out what the actual circumference would be. Well, the circumference would be the same as the orbital claim to be trajectory of the moon in the heliocentric bullshit model. So you've got this massive Earth, bigger than, if I'm honest, bigger than the actual orbital claim to be path of the moon if it's falling as a rock in presupposed orbit. Nevertheless, that all aside, you've got a massive Earth. Now, given that it's supposed to be a rock with physical limitations, it can't grow. That's what unorthodox tried to do. Well, give us the maths for how much bigger it would be. I'm sure you did that wrong. Oh yeah, because let's argue about how much the physical rock in a sky vacuum has grown that day, because that makes perfect sense. Let's see if we've done the maths for how much we've obliterated your model and its R value, which is set in stone. You can't go beyond the geometric limits if you've got a geometric sphere beneath your feet. Soon as you demolish it, that's it, end of the model. Net result, hand wave from their side. We do not see the geometric horizon that used to be blocking boats and buildings and claim to have boats going over it and being the only cause that you used to assert. One thing in your column. Everything else we detailed with ranty flat earth and life is short and red pill philosophy out with their cameras, their P900s and 1000s, looking at the optical effects and being told, ha ha, fluff! No! Geometry, R value, what's wrong with you? What's with your excuses for Earth curve, eh? Look at all this massive list of things that happen in reality when you're looking at photography. We've got a side-on mathematical value of R that we can apply to a geometric sphere edge horizon blocking it. And that's what's happening. And if it's blocking it a little bit less or a little bit more, we'll introduce this thing called terrestrial refraction to bend that line inside view a little bit more or a little bit less. It won't have anything to do with optics. It won't have anything to do with pictures. You'll see the side of your own head in our maths. It's hijacking perspective, but all those things aside, we've only got one thing to assert. Earth curve. Now that we've debunked the R value, they say, oh, we need to account for optics. Maybe suck out the optics to do geometry. That's never going to happen. So your geometry's bunk. It only exists in one instance, which is on paper in a model that's mathematical and doesn't exist in reality. Geometric horizons X mark the spot in their model side on, and a point in the ocean in the Black Swan that they claim is a physical geometric sphere edge we can't see. No, we just can't see it. It doesn't exist. The model's now bunk. End of model. But I'm glad that people are coming in with the Earth curve maths again, because it gives me a great opportunity to talk all about how bad it's been defeated with the Black Swan argument. Happy days. I've actually asked Quantum Eraser and Sleeping Warrior to do a show on this, because for a couple of months, thanks to COVID, we were stuck without arguments about the Black Swan. Who's coming here with the calculator? Well, nobody. Well, now, hey, Black Swan rides again. I'm more than happy to do a special show about it. Talk all about the Black Swan and how dead their model is, how much the heliocentric model implodes as a result of this argument, how it's game over globe. All hail the Black Swan. I'm not making it full circle, it's just an analogy.
Now, Nathan, let's be sensible. At best, you've debunked the radius.
At best, we've debunked the radius.
Sensible. I like that.
And the radius is the fundamental foundation for the entire model. Everything from ground up to sky.
So even to claim that the horizon doesn't work is the same thing as saying that sextants and theodolites aren't measured.
The horizon don't work.
Well, we get that, don't we? If something doesn't work in their model, like with the guy who's reifying the model, I was like, well, I think it was Brian said, well, what do you do if one of your correlations fails? And the guy was like, well, that's a problem. It's like, no, it's not. The world is still exactly the same. The fact that there's some stupid error in your model and it doesn't compare and doesn't correlate in this example doesn't mean anything. It doesn't change the world we live in. The world is still the world. We don't live on a sphere. And if there's some issue with how the sphere describes things, who cares? It's not the world we live in. Doesn't make any difference if there's an error in the model. So what? We don't live on a model.
Black Swan.
That's the question, eh? What do we live on?
Terra firma, Earth, ground. You're standing on it. Just look out your window. What kind of crazy ass question is that, Globehead?
On a globe head.
Yeah, go outside, smell some flowers, touch some trees, get your feet into the grass. That's where you're living. Firmly seated in reality.
We
That's
live
where
on
you
the
should
ground because of gravity.
You know what I found funny the other day as I was re-listening to the episode from last week, and I'm asking Alan B, well, how many horizons do we have? And you got nothing but silence. And then at some point he says, I feel like this is almost a gotcha. And I remember thinking in my head, like, wait a minute, this is not a gotcha. You just answered the question. How many horizons do we have? Everybody knows that, right? Oh, wait, until the Black Swan argument, everybody knew we had one horizon because nobody spoke about 3, 4, 5 horizons before that. All of a sudden now it's a secondary thought. Now I have to think, well, which horizon am I seeing? Which one are we talking about?
Chocolate. After the Black Swan, all hell broke loose. Now you got eye level horizon, kneecap horizon, ankle horizon, the actual
Chocolate
horizon, sea level horizon, astrological horizon.
That's funny though.
We said we have 7.
Geometric horizon, which we don't see. Oh, that's a bit of a problem, isn't it?
I'm going to come to that, Neil.
What's that?
I'll come to that in a moment, what you just mentioned. I was just waiting for chocolate.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm done ranting.
So on Ballbusters on Saturday, Rumpus joined and misrepresented a point that was being made clear by Quantum Eraser over several shows, which is to say that there's various different descriptions of what is, in their world, the singular geometric horizon. All of the descriptions of a horizon are referencing back to the geometric horizon by definition. Now, that's because in our world, in the Western world, when you look for a definition for something, if it has anything to do with the heliocentric paradigm, it will be referenced to the heliocentric paradigm. So all of the definitions read out by Quantum Eraser, and this has been done on several occasions, are all referencing back to the exact same thing, which is the geometric horizon, i.e. the assumption of a sphere edge for your horizon. So it didn't matter if it was detailing it over land, over sea, with various topography that might make up the horizon, but they're all referencing back to the same thing with one exception. Now, the one exception is called the true horizon, which is interesting given that's part of the reference that's used when Al-Biruni makes his measurement. But that is to assume a true 90 degrees. So if you've got a perpendicular, this is where Bev comes in, then you're automatically making certain axioms effective. But nevertheless, I'm digressing. You're assuming that you've got this particular type of horizon, which is called the true horizon. I think it's got another term. I think it's the astronomical horizon. I could be wrong about that. Hopefully I'll get a correction if I'm wrong. Nevertheless, that's an imaginary horizon, but that's the only exception. So Quantum Eraser detailed and defined 2 horizons. One imaginary, the other with lots of different descriptions and lots of different definitions, but they all tie back to the exact same thing, which is what they claim we see in the horizon. If you're on a sphere, this is being muddied at the moment, if you're on a sphere, you have, fact, a geometric horizon in your paradigm. That is what the horizon is if you are a heliocentrist. Now, you don't have to like it, and you don't have to like the fact we've debunked us having a geometric horizon. You can now claim you've got 2 if you're deluded, which is what we get. Well, we've got a point in the ocean that nobody can see and isn't a horizon that we're going to mark with an X in our model and call a horizon, and we're going to work from there. Well, that doesn't fly. It just demonstrates how badly we've debunked this model. Because you don't have 2 horizons, you only have 1, so we now have a distinction. The second horizon is only in existence in a geometric begging the question proof of nothing perspective hijacking curve calculator, marked with an X side on. Well, a horizon, for a start, is not a point on a curve side on with you seeing your own head. So, horizon's a straight line, as on screen now. That's a horizon. In their model, it's just a single point, marked with 1x. Horizons run the full length of this image because that's what a horizon is. It's not a side on X marks the spot point. Horizons aren't points. But that's what it is in their model, and this is a great way of highlighting how it's effectively removed perspective from their equations, because suddenly instead of a line, that line gets turned 90 degrees side on, so you end up with a single point for the horizon. Well, that's not the real world. That's the way of perspective hijacking so that you can create a sphere world paradigm with an R value, and as I say, that's been debunked by the Black Swan. I'll do another plug, hopefully this will get arranged this week. Hopefully myself, Quantum Eraser and Sleeping Warrior will be discussing the return of the Black Swan. So be here or be sphere to be announced when it will be.
Where is Sleeping
Yeah,
Warrior
Nathan,
been?
you were right about that. Both the astronomical and the true horizon are defined as imaginary.
Hold on, that's an
So,
interesting
yeah.
question. What do you mean, where's Sleeping Warrior been? I speak to Sleeping Warrior almost daily. I mean, I don't keep up to date with his YouTubing. He doesn't tend to keep up to date with mine, although I do occasionally see him in the chat, but I speak to him daily. Is he a shoe missing or something?
No, I mean on this show. He hasn't been on here in a while.
Oh, I don't know. I speak to him,
I
though,
talked with
like
him
I
this
say,
morning.
daily. To me, it's like he's here all the time, because I speak to him so often.
I like to bring up the Achilles heel for this horizon thing, at least the way I see it. They always say you must correct for altitude for the dip. So a dip correction has to be made to the sextant altitude to allow for the height of the observer's eye above the horizon. And I'm reading this. This is known as dip. So at the end, no matter how many horizons they want to say, they still have to account for dip to the actual horizon. So there's only one horizon.
No, you've just made something. That's just made sense. You've said that several times, and the penny's never dropped, 10th man. So when Al-Biruni does his measurement, that's why he calls it the true horizon. What you would account for with the sextant is the horizon dip measurement that's being taken when you assume an imaginary second horizon that's a true 90 degrees from your position. So you've got your, what's it called, the point above your head? Is it the azimuth?
Zenith.
Zenith. So you've got your zenith, you've got your 90 degrees, your perpendicular, and that's going to be drawn out to an imaginary point as the second horizon that exists in Al-Biruni's measurement. So he's got the true horizon, hasn't he? Well, how has he got that? Well, it's just a 90 degrees with a perpendicular, and then he's measuring the dip. Oh, thanks for the typey type, QE. In my dramatic moment. So he's measuring the dip. He's invented a second horizon also. So Al-Biruni's just got two horizons the same. It's just slightly more crude. He's saying there's a true horizon, 90 degrees to his position. Was it the astronomical horizon? Was I right in that description?
I'm looking at a diagram here. One is the true horizon, one is the visible horizon, and the one up in the air should be the astronomical. It doesn't say it, but it should be, I think.
I'm pretty sure
But see, they convolute the whole thing.
Hold on. I'm pretty sure that those two things are the same. The astronomical horizon is described as being described out at 90 degrees from your position. So, therefore, the true and the astronomical are one and the same thing.
Well, they have something called a sensible horizon, too. See, they just throw so many horizons there.
A sensible horizon? What's a sensible horizon?
I don't know. They keep throwing these horizons. But at the end of the day, after studying as little as I have on the sextant, you still have to account for dip to one horizon. Just one.
I still think there's a market for these horizons. You know, they went cold a little bit when the Black Swan went out of fashion with COVID, but, you know, Black Swan's back in fashion. I'm sure there's people out there that want these imaginary horizons.
On sale after the Black Swan.
I'm going to do a quick shout out to James Richards. He says, "Ballers believe," in quotes, "water will take the form of the exterior of a shape. In this case, a ball. Observing natural physics within our world, this is impossible!" Exclamation mark. Ah, but they need it. 2. Therefore it does. Was that Crown Munchers? Crown Munchers? Thank you very much indeed, James Richard, for the super chat.
Uncle Rumpy, the delusional numpties here. Maybe he's got some info on Polaris for us.
Maybe. Let's see if we can get an update. Did you get your picture on your back?
I don't have a collection of pictures because you didn't seem to be interested in me providing with overwhelming evidence for the movement of Polaris with regard to position, with regard to latitude.
That's literally what we told you to come back with. Was
Have you got it now then? Wicked. Let's have a look. Excellent. Have you got...
I could go and get 5 observations from different latitudes and make a compelling case. Yes, but for some reason,
we're going to need.
Hold on
a second. We're going to need the sextant with the refracto. Hold on. Now, don't tell me to hold on. We're number 1, A, in the list is a sextant with a built-in refractometer with the calibration certificate. That's number 1. That's where you get off.
You can avoid the issue of refraction because when you're looking at high up in something like
I ain't talking about refraction.
Hold on. Did he say you can avoid the issue of refraction? We're not doing this. You are. But was that a little projection?
I can avoid it.
I'm talking, Rumpus. I'm talking. Hello. I'm talking. I'm talking. Hello.
Okay.
So when you say you can avoid the issue of refraction,
I'm happy for it to be.
I'm still talking. I've got the same sentence out. Are you scared of me, Rumpus? Are you scared of me? Seems you're scared of me. I'll try again.
No,
we'll see how you get on. You are scared of me.
Come on, Nathan. Come out of your bunker and come out into the open where you can be debated.
Let's shut you up.
Get the fuck
and
out of
say
here with that nonsense.
The end of my sentence, hopefully. When Rumpus says... God, I'm getting Rumpus by my own side now. When Rumpus says you can get around the problem of refraction... What he actually means is, I'm going to weasel around the problem of refraction with the following. Now, we will look at it when he presents it. That would be images with a refractometer from his sextant, accounted for with certification, and his picture of Polaris, with North Pole directly above in frame, you on your back. All of that's going to be required. But the I'm going to get around refraction, which is what you mean when you project onto me, is going to get highlighted, Rumpus. You don't have to like me pointing out your use of projection when you say you don't have to do something. When you mean Rumpus will have to avoid the problem of refraction.
As in the population at large. Anybody who wishes to do it can get around the problem of refraction.
You've been charged with it. It's not... No, you've been charged with it by me. Nathan Oakley charged you with it.
Yeah, but I'm saying everybody can get around the
Let's just try that again, because he completely ignored me. On the Ballbusters show, I personally charged you with this, not the general populace. You, Rumpus, told me how easy it would be for me to do, and I said, this isn't my claim, my evidence. If it's dead easy for me, I'm personally going to charge you, the Rumpus, with doing it. So let's not defer to an appeal to consensus, because you're being charged with it, and we'll look at your evidence that you provide us with when you provide it, and we'll listen to your weaselly little weasels when it comes to the refraction problem you will have, not me. Is that clear?
There is no refraction problem.
Oh, jolly good. Excellent. So let's see the images then.
Would you like me to explain to you why?
No, I don't need an explanation. We need the images first, then we'll talk about the refraction problem and whether or not it is one. Have you got the images?
The reason I described you is because I know you won't accept any evidence from any objection.
Have you got the pictures for us to see? Don't tell me what I will or won't accept. I'll accept them right here, right now, if you present them and you've got them, and how you've acquired them and what you're going to ignore and weasel your way around will be discussed once we see them. Have you got them?
Won't accept them.
Have you got them?
You won't accept them.
So you have, but you're withholding them. It's a bit like Paul Voigt withholding his evidence for the molten iron core and telling us that we simply wouldn't accept it. Well, I'm willing and open to accept it, ladies and gentlemen. I just need to see it. Are you withholding evidence from my audience, or are you just scared of me?
If I provide
I raised my hand. I'm willing to accept it, Rumpus.
And that's why I keep on suggesting people like yourself or...
No, that's a burden of proof reversal fallacy. Oh, revert back to the old you can do it. I've charged you personally with this, Rumpus. Are you such a pathetic weasel that you're already trying to burden proof reversal? My God, that was quick.
Everybody who's made the observation knows...
No, we're talking about you. Stop appealing to consensus.
Everybody's made...
No, last chance. I'm not going to listen to what everybody can do. I'll reiterate to the audience, then I'll kick you out. I'll give you one more chance after I've reiterated to the audience what the situation is. Rumpus came on the audience and told me, like he's doing now, that it would be so easy for you at large, or in that case me personally, to acquire his evidence for his claim. And I'm saying, nah. If according to you it's really evidence, this evidence is really easy to acquire, then I charge you, the Rumpus, personally with acquiring it. Now, don't appeal to consensus for the 5th time, or I'll kick you out permanently.
I'm not appealing to consensus. All observations show this.
Show what? You haven't shown us anything.
I'm looking out my
Show
window
what?
right now. at an observation
Everyone
of my
else, hello.
TV.
Hold on. Everyone else, hello. Hello. Hello.
Even said.
Oh, he won't shut up. He's just going to Rumpus the hangout now. He's got the correct chaos to start. All evidence shows what? You haven't shown us anything.
All observations show.
You haven't shown us any observations, you dipshit. You seem to be appealing to something you haven't shown us. Are you a moron? You haven't shown us it.
All observations.
He's just telling us about all observations. What a complete bonehead. Are you dumb?
Yep.
I've charged you with getting
Yes.
it, and you haven't given it us. Go ahead, QE.
Yes, he's really stupid. He said all observations show this. Okay, well, I'm looking outside my window at the tree in my backyard. Can you tell me how that observation confirms your angle to Polaris, you numpty dipshit?
All observations of Polaris. I was
Shit, you're a freak.
All
You should be
observations of
institutionalized.
Polaris.
You are a
Show us.
moron, QE.
Show
You are
us.
a moron. You don't
Yeah,
know
you
what
call
this
me
is.
a moron.
Sorry, we've asked him to show us. We've given specific criteria. He says at 90 degrees, working away every 69 miles, blah, blah, blah. We need to actually see that. And you've told me how easy it is to get this. You haven't shown us a damn thing, Grumpus.
One show when everybody can see Polaris, and then we could see it all in action.
Everybody doesn't need to see it, dipshit. You do.
It'd be exciting for you, Nathan. You'd learn.
Not for me. How many bloody times do I have to explain that you're reversing the burden of proof again? I'm charging you with doing it, and you seem to be weaseling and worming around the fact that you're not going to be doing this. You pathetic little weasel. You can't do this.
Okay, then we could have a live show in which I organise some
Rumpus.
people
Rumpus.
to make observations of Polaris, and you could have it streamed onto your show, and we could all from different latitudes look at Polaris, come up with an angle, and then we could show you that it is a valid, and therefore the flat Earth is invalidated.
We're waiting.
Where is it? Where is it, Rumpus?
He said he's appealed to the future. We can do this in the future. Well, no, nothing
Hasn't
to do with
somebody
me.
Done this already?
Nothing to do with me. I'm not going to do it. It's not going to be on my show. You're going to do it on your show with your audience and your friends participating in your garbage. So long as I get 90 degrees to Polaris, someone on their back at the North Pole with Polaris directly above them, and your refractometer on every sextant measurement, because obviously we don't see a geometric horizon, do we? So all of those things need to be accounted for and done. And when you do them, not me, not everybody, you, the Rumpus, I'm charging you. I am the authority in this. I'm telling you. You will be doing this, or you won't, and I'll call you a pathetic failure.
If you had an understanding of geometry...
No, don't ad hom me about what I understand. You haven't presented anything. You'll either be an abject failure, or you'll provide us with what you have told me and the audience at large is really easy to do. So you're going to do it. I'm charging you with it. And if you don't, I'll call you what you are, you pathetic failure. I can appeal to the future too. My appeal to the future is that Rumpus will weasel his way out of actually doing this. He won't get someone on their back looking at Polaris. He won't have people measuring it out to the equator. He won't have a refractometer on any of the sextants. And he'll have excuses that he wants me to make for my observation when he's supposed to be doing it. So he won't do what he's been charged with because he can't. Now he's going to burden of proof reversal fallacy immediately and talk about what the consensus can do or what I can do to mask his failure. Because that's what you are, Rumpus, and I will highlight from now on until you provide this that you are indeed a failure twice over. Like you failed to actually demonstrate how the Isle of Man with your presumed R value could be refracted up. Yeah, that was a total fail on your part, and this will be fail number 2, because you absolutely will not do this.
If you understood geometry, you would understand.
No, that's another ad hom, same ad hom I shut you up on last time. You can't do this, appeal to the future by me. You're a moron now and you're a moron in the future. You won't be capable of doing this. You're a moron.
If you understood geometry...
You don't understand your failure that you've already demonstrated at the Isle of Man and your failure that you will experience with this. You don't understand how stupid you are, Dunning-Kruger. You just don't understand how thick you are.
If you understood geometry...
You don't understand how thick you are. I can ad hom too. You don't understand, you don't understand, you don't understand. I understand your little magic trick, and that magic trick doesn't work on me. Telling me what I should understand from you, a pathetic weasel, who is an abject failure and will not provide this. All you can do is tell me what I do and do not understand, as opposed to accepting your failure in this regards.
If you understood geometry...
You don't understand how stupid you are. You don't understand how stupid you are. I can do that too. You don't understand how unbelievably difficult it will be to achieve a task you've told me it's simple. If it's simple, you don't understand how simple this is. You don't understand how easy it would be for you to do this, Rumpus. And my authority on how easy this is you. You've told me how easy it is. So if you're not stupid, this will be easy. Because according to you, it's easy, so you'll get it, won't you, Rumpus?
The observation from the pole equator is not required to establish the...
Yeah, it is required. That's on the list of things that's needed if you're going to be referencing Polaris. We're going to need that the declination's beyond the 90 degrees that you start with. We're going to need a starting point. Why are you already weaseling? You've still not provided anything. Why aren't you getting on with it and going and getting it instead of making your excuses in advance? What are you, a bloody race car driver?
The starting point can be at any angle. You do not need to cover all angles.
So what, are we going to assume that Polaris is directly above your head if you're lying on your back below it? Are we going to assume that?
If you establish a pattern from...
My question, I will repeat until this live show ends. Are we going to assume that Polaris is directly above me if I'm lying on my back at the North Pole? Is that going to be an assumption you will utilise or not?
You don't need it. You can use the other data.
Sorry. So we're going to reference where Polaris is to something that we're not assuming. So Polaris, what's it doing when you're directly below it according to you in your paradigm, Rumpus? That's not going to be assumed.
If I make 10 measurements of the angle of Polaris at 10 different latitudes, you can establish a pattern.
And what does that have to do with your position with respect to Polaris itself?
You make an observation of the angle of Polaris from different...
No, you didn't answer my question second time. Just gave me a load of obfuscation about what you could derive and what you will derive based on your assumption of what 90 degrees to Polaris will give you.
Your question didn't make any sense. The way it works is you...
No, don't tell me my question doesn't make... You don't understand what you're measuring. Don't you understand what you're measuring with respect to? You don't understand this, Rumpus. I don't think you should be doing this given that you don't understand what you're doing.
If you understood geometry, you'd understand...
I understand it. You've just made it clear that you don't understand what you need in terms of your reference point for Polaris. If you're going to be deriving measurements from Polaris, we're going to need that initial reference point, aren't we? With you 90 degrees to it lying on your back.
You don't need that initial reference point.
I'm confused. Which one is it? Is it that the observation is easy or it's not required now? Because you said it was easy on Saturday on
10 different people. In
now,
fact,
2 days later,
yeah?
Rumpus,
What?
now we're asking you for this observation, and now you're saying it's not even required. So which one is it?
You need lots of observations, but you don't...
Yeah, we do need, definitely going to need 90 degrees to Polaris. I mean, I can't acquire that. Is it just because you can't acquire it?
We're asking for, though.
That's precisely what we're... Yeah, exactly, Chocolate. Why are you telling us that something that's required isn't required for you to make this claim? If Polaris is directly above you on your ball, we're going to need to clarify that that is actually the case, Rumpus.
No, you don't.
Oh, don't I?
Well,
hold on, Chocolate. Don't I? Well, why would I need any... I'm asking you to back your claim. So what? I don't need it. Back to reversing the burden of proof subtly. I don't need anything, dipshit. I'll just declare failure. You don't understand what you need, Rumpus, you complete failure. So I don't need anything. I can just declare you a dipshit. You failed then, telling me you don't need it.
You don't understand, clearly.
No, that little magic trick is what I'm utilising. You don't seem to understand what you require for your claim. So you don't understand. Didn't you respect my authority when I laid down what you would require for your claim? What I need is irrelevant. I'm just clarifying whether or not you can back your bullshit. And you can't. So I declare you a failure based on your lack of understanding of what is required to back your own claim of a sphere and what it will do with respect to a Polaris that's supposed to be directly above you at the North Pole. All of that will be assumed and declared as not required. Because you're a failure, Rumpus. You don't understand what's needed. You're telling us it isn't needed.
You don't understand.
Don't tell me that I don't understand as a defence. What, ad hom the crap out of me? Clearly you don't understand. You seem to be telling us something isn't required when it's absolutely required. That declares to me that you've got some sort of mental problem. Because it is required. Saying it isn't and saying I don't understand isn't gonna wash.
It's not required, and I can...
Oh, well, that's just a failure to declare what's needed to make your declaration of what's going to happen when you move away from Polaris. Well, if you're not moving away from it, how the hell do you know what it's doing at the starting point?
You just need to get at one angle and then move with regard to that. And just simply...
Move with regards to which angle? What? You at 90 degrees to Polaris, your assumption of the starting point. Will you assume that that's the case when you're directly below Polaris? That was my original question.
All that's required are observations.
He's not answering my question because we've come full circle. A moment ago it wasn't needed. Now we've got to the point where we actually ascertain that it is needed, and he moves on to answering a different question. Very telling, Rumpus. You definitely don't understand this, moron.
You clearly don't understand.
Yeah, that's just an ad hom. I'm explaining to an audience how and why you don't understand what's required. Your only defence so far is A, I don't understand. Yeah, I'm demonstrating that I do understand, so that's not going to work. And B, it's not required. No, your justification for it not being required is no, it isn't needed. So yeah, it is needed. I do understand. Anything more than ad hom and just complete hand wave of the required elements of your claim?
If you understood geometry...
Oh, another ad hom. If I understood geometry? No, Rumpus. This is definitely a very poor failure on your part. You don't understand.
Geometry,
you
understand
do not
what
understand
I'm
this.
Would give you the
so
results.
you don't understand geometry.
If he understood geometry, Mr. Curved Tangent from Saturday.
Yeah, Rumpus doesn't understand geometry.
You need to be institutionalized.
Yeah, he came on the show and said that a tangent wouldn't need to be straight, even though the definition of a tangent is straight. And he's now saying, I don't understand geometry. No, Rumpus, you don't even understand the basics of geometry. You think a tangent can be curved. You don't understand anything. You are fundamentally retarded, Rumpus.
Claim that curves don't appear in geometry.
No, curves appear in geometry. We clarified that with your dumbass on Ballbusters. Yeah, you can measure a tangent to a curve, the one you assume in your begging the question proof of an, I think, perspective hijacking curve calculator, debunked by the Black Swan because your horizon in your model is a point in the ocean. Yeah. In the ocean, not a horizon. Dead model. Yeah, definitely not, Rumpus. You don't understand geometry. A tangent straight.
I can show you a diagram.
That's not you acknowledging what I've just demolished your stupidity with. A tangent straight, Rumpus. Not donkey dick geometry. Not Andrew Thomas Young moron two horizons geometry. Geometry. Tangent. Straight, mate.
And I can show you a diagram.
That's the same response. I can show you a diagram, what, with a bent tangent? No. Tangent straight, dickhead. You're a moron. You don't understand geometry.
I can show you a diagram.
No, that's the same response.
You can show us a diagram.
You can show us a diagram of a bent tangent.
You can have a curved tangent, Rumpus. Rumpus, you can have a curved tangent.
Yes, that's what I'll do then. Okay, great.
No, you can't just do it. Just because Andrew Thomas Young says you can have a donkey dick for a tangent line doesn't mean you can. You don't understand geometry. You're going to fundamentalist religious zealots for your geometry, rumpus. Andrew Thomas Young's assertion that you can have a donkey dick for a tangent doesn't make him the authority. It just makes him a heliocentric religiotard who thinks that straight lines can be bent when you have two horizons. I'm the new authority on this. We got that clear on Sunday. I'm the authority, not Andrew Thomas Young. His donkey dick tangent isn't going to be applied here by you, a follower of a complete moron. That would be Andrew Thomas Young with his donkey dick horizon and his donkey dick geometry and his two horizons. Don't declare donkey dick geometry here, moron. Tangents are straight. You don't understand geometry, rumpus.
I've just uploaded a diagram.
I couldn't give a crap what you've uploaded. You're paying attention to a dick. A donkey dick. For a tangent from Andrew Thomas Young. He's a moron, mate. Yeah? Now, I get that just because he's on your side and one of your priests, you're going to take his word as gospel. No, mate. The flat earthers are setting you straight. That would be a tangent line, mate. Straight.
I'm showing you a diagram which...
You keep telling me about a diagram you're going to show me. I'm not interested, right? You won't acknowledge that a straight line's straight. Now, I'm going to explain to my audience to round out my live show why that is. Because if you're a fundamentalist religious zealot with a globe belief, then a straight line is bent in your world. He can never admit that a straight line is straight.
Straight lines are straight, but the curve can meet the surface of the Earth at a tangent. You don't seem to understand.
A tangent's a straight line, though, isn't it?
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. And with that, I'm going to say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to today's Discord panel, as it was Rumpus humiliating himself by declaring quite openly at the end of the show that a tangent line doesn't need to be straight. Also, a massive thank you to all of you in the live stream audience for smashing the super chat, hopefully liking, commenting, definitely share the show, and subscribe if you've not done so already. If you're watching this on the Nathan Oakley premiering stream, stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
That's what it boils down to. Bev's been trying to say that for ages. They can't have a straight line. Their straight lines are bent. Curves are bent in... straight lines are bent in their world. It's nuts, but it's true.
So you want to share my screen so we can all agree on it? And
we just figure out who's got this background noise. Hold on, Paul.
We defined it a few weeks ago. I'm sorry,
Just trying to figure out who's got this background noise.
I said we defined about a week or so back what a line was. It cannot have bends or curves in it, and of course it says a line. A tangent is a line which cannot have bends or curves in it that just touches a curve at a point, matching the curved slope there as a tangent.
Yeah, tangent's straight by definition, but in their world, straight lines are bent. So this is a very big problem.
So they're saying the tangent touches the curved line, but it's not the curved line.
That's
that
correct.
Would be
it's
the
straight
difference.
Line. The point it meets, the curve, is the tangent point. But the tangent point is met by the straight line. That would be the tangent.
Now let me understand this correctly. So if they're drawing, let's say they're drawing a straight tangent line to the horizon, that means the angle from the observer would constantly change depending on the observation, right? Because if a tangent line does not curve, then that angular measurement would have to change each time the horizon moves. Is that right? But if they're saying it's curving over the horizon, then that's not measuring a tangent, right?
Then it's not a tangent. That's correct, Paul. That's the problem they've got. They've got donkey dick geometry as a resolve to the black swan. And let's be honest, donkey dick bent tangent geometry is laughable. Hence it's been called donkey dick geometry and attributed to Andrew Thomas Young with that donkey dick right next to his picture. With a donkey dick for a tangent line. And the straight line actual tangent being drawn to a point that only exists in their model. Isn't that sweet? Him describing us having a line of sight with something that doesn't exist? Marvellous. The only thing they're ever doing actual geometry with is a point that doesn't exist, because it only exists in their model. Essentially, they're giving us more and more concise ways of summing up how the Black Swans debunk their model, and this donkey dick geometry is just another way of doing that. It's wonderful.
Could you elaborate on the dick? Nathan.
Say again, sorry.
Said, could you elaborate on the?
I think unorthodox need you to elaborate on the donkey dick geometry of their spinning ball religion.
Yeah, a tangent, which in this analogy would be this bent line in your geometry now. You don't have a tangent anymore. With that kind of debunks anything geometric, because that requires a straight line. But you've got this bent line like a donkey dick instead. Did you want the explanation, or did you just want to interrupt me? I think you just wanted to interrupt me, didn't you, Unorthodox?
Unorthodox. Is a tangent line straight?
Yes.
Huh.
Not according to Rumpus.
That would be a problem, right, for your model? Because you don't have a straight tangent line to a horizon in your model.
Well, I can draw a straight line.
Oh, you sound just like Rumpus. You can just draw one, or you could just show us a diagram, right? But that's not actually the case, being that you just said a tangent line is straight, right? So if you're drawing a curved one, that would be bullshit, right? Does that make sense?
It wouldn't be a tangent.
Oh, well,
Right.
then it wouldn't be
Exactly.
geometry. So you don't have any geometry then to assert for your geometric model because you don't have a straight line, you don't have a tangent, it's not geometry. Welcome to Flat Earth. Because your model and your religion, it's okay, you don't need to talk through me, mate. I'm just going to assert the reality of the situation. That's right, you don't have any geometry anymore for your geometric religion.
Why?
Because you don't have a straight line, you've got a donkey dick.
How'd you take my geometry?
I don't know what.
Man-made conception, right?
Yeah, a man-made conception that gives you your ball earth belief. It's a shame it's been debunked by this black swan. Now we've got donkey dicks for tangent lines that should be straight and aren't. They're bent. Bent, the operative word. Like your model, bent. Should be straight, it's not. Should be straight, analogous to being correct, on the right path, straight. Well, your model ain't that. Your model's bent. Like a donkey dick. Yeah? It should be straight, it's not, it's bent. So it's not geometry anymore.
What?
Yeah, it's not geometry anymore. You don't have a geometric religious faith to assert anymore because you can't even do geometry in your geometric religious faith. Don't you get it?
Why can't I do geometry?
Because you don't have a tangent line to draw to a physical geometric sphere edge, formerly known as your horizon. My God, is it still another 8 months on the counter for these idiots to understand the Black Swan argument, QE?
I can't draw a straight line.
No, not if you're drawing bent ones, like Andrew Thomas Young and Rumpus. Then you'll spend 10 minutes figuring out how to answer, is a straight line straight? And a straight line in this geometry would be your tangent line you don't have.
We'll fucking draw a straight.
Ah, swear at me, bitch. I love it. Oh, yeah. Share your pain.
Yeah, okay, let's...
Share your pain. We've already had one of your nuts. Now share your pain, bitch.
Hello, Earth.
We already have one of your nuts.
Hello.
Yo, bitch. We've debunked your religion. Your geometric sphere Earth religion. It's dead. You don't have two horizons, one that doesn't exist in reality, and the other one you're drawing a donkey dick to. So, let me be the first to welcome you to Flat Earth Unorthodox. This might be that penny drop moment. If it's not, I can just do it at a later date. If it is, Welcome to Flat Earth, sunshine. Your geometric religion is dead. A black swan killed it.
Oh no! Incorrection.
I hear some familiar clicking.
We got
and
Mr.
clacking.
Ed Freeze on refraction, Nathan.
Who?
Hello?
Who?
Hello?
Hello?
I'm saying who? I don't want to sound like a bloody owl. How many more times?
I didn't hear you, man. We got some problems here in Discord. You might want to refresh.
Who are you talking about exactly?
Ed Freeze, Mr. Refraction up here. He kept on interrupting.
I don't know who that is.
Ed Freeze, he's right above Fitty.
Hey, Ed Freeze. Hello, Nathan. It's really nice to be here. Oh, thanks.
Sorry, my phone was fucking up. So if I give you the black swan, Nathan, that just means the Earth is larger. That just means it's a larger sphere. So you've successfully proved the Earth is a
wow. That's a problem.
Good job.
No, you see the way it works. If you're on a sphere that's made of rock, it can't grow. That's what we call a geometric impossibility. Physical rocks in a sky vacuum don't just grow one day. And the assertion that you've got a 3959 radius is quite literally, by reification, set in stone.
No.
So unorthodox. So what you're saying is, at best, you're willing to accept that your model is wrong. Then.
Well, I mean, a lot of the other stuff still applies. It's just a little bit bigger than we thought. So
A little bit bigger. It goes from being...
A little bit.
It goes to the begging the question orbital path of the moon. So that that trajectory that you assume the Earth and moon have together, with the moon falling around the Earth, that path that the moon takes would be the new radius value. That would be the circumference of the Earth if you did the measurements on the picture on screen now, the black swan image. So you've got an absolutely stonking enormous Earth.
Nathan, are you withholding information from your audience? Can we?
No. We've debunked the model. You've got a set in stone R value. You said you were on a sphere with the radius of 3959, and that has geometric limitations. You can't just say, oh, it was bigger that day. Rocks in a sky vacuum don't grow.
Well, that's the conclusion to the black swan, Nathan.
Yeah, the Earth is dead. Not let's work out how much bigger it is given our different day and conditions. No, the edge that you asserted was a physical sphere edge horizon blocking boats and buildings isn't just going to be recalculated to a bigger value. No, that's not how it works. It's just been debunked. It's just the end of heliocentricity.
No. Absolutely.
Well, that's a fundamentalist religious zealot hand wave. Yes. Your model... Oh, look at that. What a coincidence. It's got donkey dick geometry on screen for the audience, just as we're talking about this. Yeah, this line here is bent. And in geometry, it needs to be this dotted line to a point that you never see in your model. That's why we're calling it donkey dick geometry. That's why I've got donkey next to it with a representation of Andrew Thomas Young holding up this diagram of his donkey dick geometry that debunks the assertion that we've got a physical sphere edge based on this R value. He's calling it G. That G is a tangent point drawn with a straight line you never have in your model. So we don't have two horizons. This Andrew Thomas Young character's got two horizons, G and H. We only have one. The one we don't see, according to him, is only in existence in your model. And that debunks your model. No longer can we assert geometry. Because you don't have any. You don't have an R value. Not let's work out the new R value. No, it doesn't work like that.
Yes, that's exactly how it works.
Really? You think that you're just going to recalculate the new sphere Earth to be the begging the question orbital path of the moon because on one day the horizon happened to be a bit further away because the day was a bit clearer? No, I don't think so. It just debunks your entire model from ground up because everything is based on the R value. All of your calculations for the lights in the sky, Kepler's third law, that's all going to be utilising the R value. You've got Venus at the same R value as Earth. It's an assumption of an R value for both of those claimed to be rocks in a sky vacuum. Well, that all falls to pieces if you change... I'm still talking. That all falls to pieces if you assume a different R value, because suddenly you're a bit triggered
Shut
there,
up.
Fundy. You're a bit triggered there,
Yeah, I
Fundy.
mute him. Go ahead, Nathan.
That's okay. I don't mind him. He can share his pain. You're a bit triggered there, Fundy. Is it painful listening to the death of your model, your globe model, dying before your very ears?
Well, we can't hear anything in here while he's talking over you.
Of course. He's trying to keep his wiring intact. This is very painful for them. It's very painful for you, isn't it, unorthodox? You've got to talk through it, right? You don't want to listen to it. Of course, you're a zealot.
You're up next, Ed Freeze. Just wait a second.
We done
50.
here, unorthodox? Have you accepted your models, dead? We don't have Earth-based geometry. We don't have a physical sphere edge. If it's going to change to a different value on a different day, it's not a physical sphere edge. Obviously, it's not a rock in the sky then, because it's bigger that day. Well, that's not how rocks work. So you accept that it's not your rock in a sky vacuum then. Venus hasn't got the same value to give you all of your derivative maths for Kepler's third law of interplanetary motion. You accept that all that's all completely destroyed if you change R. You're just growing the size of Venus and Earth arbitrarily one day. No, that's just the death of your model, mate.
No, the conclusion to the black swan is that the Earth has a larger radius, and we're off by a certain factor on the other calculations. So
Yeah,
everything else continues. I'm not finished.
264,000 miles and shut their damn mouth. Off by a factor. If that horizon is 10 miles away, then the Earth has a radius of 264,000 miles. You friggin' numpty dipshit.
It's just an obfuscation tactic.
I can't see the
Instead of
calculation.
arguing about how the models died, he wants to argue about how much the calculations might or might not be wrong for the vastly increased sphere value on a given day. Now, it just debunks the horizon as being physical and geometric, mate. It doesn't grow. Earth as a rock doesn't do that.
To be honest, he sounds very much like Michio Kaku saying we're off by a factor of 10 to the 120. Is that does that match your mathematics?
Hold on, I just want
Because you sound like him.
to have a quick chat with 10th man. 10th, are you still there? Still there, 10th?
Yeah, I'm here.
Quick question. Can you see what's on screen?
Yes.
This is Al Biruni's measurement method. And what he's got between A and C is the dip that you would minus off if you're using a sextant. But the unlabeled line at the top of the diagram, I'm just going to show for my audience with my ass what I'm talking about. This is another horizon, isn't it?
Yeah, that I believe that top one is their sensible horizon.
I knew it. So the sensible horizon is actually the same as drawing an imaginary 90 degrees from your zenith. That's what the imaginary horizon in that description of sensible means, also known as the true horizon, also known as the astronomical horizon. They're all one and the same thing. What a shock. There's lots of descriptions of the same thing. But that essentially does give him two horizons, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, in the use of a sextant, which is so simple, if you just watch a few videos, ballers, the height of your observation must be minus to sea level, which is at 0 on the 90. That's the horizontal. And then the vertical would be your 90. There's your right angle. And if you are saying eyeing the moon and it happens to be at 65 degrees, that's how you know your angle between the 0 and the 90. The moon's at 65, then you go to your air almanac and do all the calculations, and that's how you find where you're at. So it's wherever you're at on your ship, if it's 10 feet above sea level, you got to minus that and then go to the book.
Exactly. So in essence, when you're drawing an imaginary line out to 90 degrees, you're deriving a horizon and then minusing off the dip to assume a sphere, giving you a second horizon. The sphere-Earth geometric horizon, derived from a second imaginary horizon. So again, Al Biruni's got two horizons. What a shock. With that, I'm going to say another huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G+ panels for making this after show possible. And of course, a massive thank you to all of you in the Nathan Oakley Premiering Stream audience for hopefully smashing the super chat, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, and all that good stuff. Be sure to check out nathanoakley.com and the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!